I'm Joshua Vogelstein. I think this is probably the last class of the semester, right? Like the actual last. Does anyone have a class after this? What do you have after this? Don't go to that. I'm surprised you're even here at this. What year are you guys? You're juniors? Is anyone here a senior? There's no seniors? You're a senior? No seniors? That's good. Seniors should not be at their last class of the year. Juniors even, it's questionable. I remember my last class of junior year, I was definitely in the quad, not at class. I think I was throwing water balloons at the class. It was a very good day. So we have 50 minutes, 48 minutes. Last year I had 2 or 3 lectures. Were you there? I must have been there. Anyway, I had more, and so I could give you more stuff to learn. But this time, I only have 1 lecture. I don't know why. What happened? Does anyone know? I was supposed to lecture on Wednesday, but then they told me I wasn't.
Because we have already canceled 2 lectures before.
Oh. Anyway, okay. So, I thought for a while, after they told me I only had 1 lecture, what we could possibly cover in 48 minutes. And I decided probably nothing, basically. So, that's fine with me. I know this stuff already. So I thought instead I would try to do something useful to you, which you probably wouldn't get in another class. And it's, it's the last class of the year, right? This is the spring. Yeah. So I had 2 grant deadlines. I slept like 2 nights this week, and I have a 12-week-old son, so that didn't help the other nights. Anyway, this is the last class of the year, so you don't have to learn anything anymore. Everyone should close their notebooks and close their laptops and turn their phones off. I promise you, I'm going to give them a question for the final, and it won't matter anything I say now for that test, okay? So don't have to worry about it. Who watches this video? Not the other faculty, right? Let's just assume they'll be fine with it. So, okay, everyone has a summer plan? Do you guys have summer plans? Does anyone not have a summer plan? Does anyone neither have summer plans or not? You're living in the ether in the summer? What are you doing? Ether? Oh, cool. Let me know how it goes. Okay, so I thought I'd tell you about something that might be useful and important. And I'm going to ask you a question for the final, but it's not going to have anything to do with what I say. It's going to be about what you think. I'm going to tell you a story about why I got into doing what I do, and I hope it will inspire you. As faculty, technically, according to deans, our job is to teach you knowledge and bring them money. I'm bringing them money, that's fine. I'm not going to teach you knowledge though, but I'm going to try to inspire you, which I think is a much more important thing that it's probably hard to get at a place where it would be much less expensive and hard to get into. And one of the great things, there's really 2 great things about Hopkins. One great thing is all of you guys and the community that you built. And the other great thing is access to faculty. Right? And in particular in biomedical engineering, I happen to believe that it's the best department in the world. When I went on the faculty search, I applied to 1 place and it was Hopkins, and I wanted to go to 1 department and it was BME, and I was lucky that I got in. Otherwise I don't know what I would have done. But the point is, I think it's the best place in the world. And I love my job. And I hope you guys will all love your jobs whenever you get a job, if you feel like having one. Okay, so let's go back now to when I was, say, 15. I'm in high school. I'm thinking about what I feel like doing my senior high school project. And I decided I wanted to do it on immortality because that seemed cool because I was 15. So I started reading a bunch of books on it, and people don't really have that much interesting to say about immortality, it turns out. It's kind of like, yeah, maybe there's a fountain or talk to the gods or whatever, but there's very little scientific anything. I've read a bunch about telomeres and cancer, and sharks don't get cancer, or maybe they can live forever, and it didn't really seem promising. And then I started reading about the brain, and I noticed something that I thought was really inspiring, which is I have a brain, That was good. They quite noticed that. I noticed that. And then I thought, oh, so does everyone else. Everyone I know has a brain. I thought, all the animals have a brain. That's cool. And I thought, what else does everyone have? And then, it's been a while, and I couldn't really figure it out. And I've asked this question that most of the classes have ever given. And I've never heard another answer, but I'm possible there's one. So does anyone know, is there any physical organ or body part or whatever that all animals have that's not the brain? They all kind of have cells, right? That's like a little cheating. Yeah? A heart? Yeah, it's not quite true though, right? So who knows about things that don't have hearts? Well, really little things don't have hearts necessarily. Like little worms, even though they have brains, they don't really need a heart. Stuff just kind of floats around sometimes. Also, there's a bunch of humans without hearts. Right? People have pacemakers and other stuff. You take their heart out for a few minutes on the operating table, they're fine. You rarely, if ever, take their brain out for a few minutes and then just put it back in later. That's not a thing. The thing that you would do if you took their brain out you would put it in a new body, right? You would get a body transplant, not a brain transplant. Brain transplant doesn't even make any sense. The brain is kind of the thing, the physical embodiment. If you have to get us to our core, I believe, the thing that makes us, the one organ that makes us who we are, if it's any organ at all, is the brain. And so I thought, that's fucking cool. Let's study that because it seems important. So I started studying it, and actually I mostly started just kind of hanging out in the quad, going to college. But then eventually, in grad school, I started studying it, and it's been really fun. And so the lessons I've learned from that, there's a couple things. So the first thing is to work on something important. There's a lot of things you can work on. And a lot of people, you guys do research in labs probably, and some of you go on to do jobs or academia. And it's easy to go into a lab, for example, in academia or industry, and someone gives you a project, and you work on it. And you do really well. And you graduate, and you need to write your own grant. And so you know this thing. So you write a grant about that thing, and you keep working on it. And you spend your entire life working on this thing because you happen to show up at this one person's lab the day that they happen to have this project that no one else in the lab felt like working on at the time, because otherwise they would have been working on it. And then you spend your whole life doing it. Sometimes it's really important, but not always. Right? Sometimes, you guys are smart. Right? You're Hopkins, you're taking this class, you're probably other things. You can do important stuff. And so I would encourage you to think deeply about what's important to the world, to you, to your friends, your family, to whatever you care about. And try to spend energy, not just time, but really energy, on the important things. The way I like to think about what's important is how many people it will impact, or how many animals. And so, brain is kind of the obvious one for me. But there's lots of things, right? People do cell biology that impacts all sorts of stuff that isn't just animals. Some people I know study cancer. It's pretty important. There's a whole lot of people that die of cancer, a whole lot of people have family members and friends that die of cancer. It's really sad. And so curing cancer would be super awesome. And other stuff. Some people think space is important. I don't know why. I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying I don't know why it would be. I look at the stars every night and it's awesome. And I'm reading my 12-week-old son a book about cosmology. I think he's getting it, but I don't see why it's important. It's fun. It's beautiful. It doesn't seem important to me. So okay, important seems like a good thing to keep in mind. And the other thing to keep in mind is feasible. And that doesn't just mean feasible in the world. That means feasible for you. You should actually be able to do it. Right? So if you set, or if I had set my goal out to understand the brain, it's complicated, dude. I don't think I'm going to do it. I'm kind of smart and I work pretty hard and I have a great team of people, but man, if you human brain, there's like 84 billion neurons and 1,000 trillion synapses, and every single person's brain is different. And there's 10,000 genes that are involved in the neurodevelopmental process. And then there's neurodegeneration when you get old. And there are psychoses and neuroses and the impact of the environment and plasticity and learning. And I'm not going to get it. I'm sorry, like, it's complicated. I've barely got Newtonian physics, and quantum physics I'm not even close to, and the brain just seems complicated. I'm not going to understand it. But I might understand certain things about it. And so what I focus all of my energy on, for the most part, is understanding the networks of the brain. There's this idea, it's only, well, I can ask you guys a question. How long does anyone know for how long people have thought the brain was a really important organ in humans? Right, there's all these expressions that imply that people thought other stuff were. Speak from your heart. Does your heart have vocal cords or neurons? I don't think so. But speak from your heart comes from the current scientific ideas of the time at some point. People thought that's where thinking came from. So, does anyone know when people thought brains were super important in terms of thinking and cognition? Pretty old. They were fighting about it in the Greeks. But eventually, Greeks and Romans, they kind of figured it out. You know, weird stuff would happen, like someone would get stabbed in the head and live, but their personality would totally change. And that doesn't happen when you get stabbed in the heart or the lungs. Like, your personality doesn't really change. I mean, you may be pissed, but you don't, like, adopt new kind of personality quirks. You don't forget things all of a sudden. People started doing surgeries on people after they died, and they would notice that parts of their brain were missing, and they started noticing correlations, like certain parts of the brain were missing, and those people couldn't speak. Other parts, and those people couldn't see, things like that. And so they started piece by piece, little by little, understanding that, yeah, the brain is the thing by which it kind of controls our thinking process. And then, you know, people knew, you know when people knew about cells? You know how people even discovered cells? You guys all know what a cell is, right? How did anyone discover that there's a cell? Yeah, but how did he use to see it? Microscope. So someone had to invent a microscope to even know that there were cells. There's lots of people, like billions of people, just didn't know cells existed. And had a microscope eventually, and they could see the cells. But people here know what neurons are. You guys have all had a class. Some of you know what neurons is, right? Okay. I don't know. I learned at some point. Okay, so neurons is a cell body. Right? Let's just take a regular pyramidal neuron. So here's the cell body, pyramidal because it's a triangle, right? And there's a bunch of things that come off, and a bunch of dendrites and an axon and whatever. When did people know about these guys? The axons and the dendrites. They're smaller than the cell body, so that microscope, the hook used, wasn't going to work. It was later. What's the difference? They're old and dead now. Okay. So now there's another cell, and it's over here. It's got some other processes, axons and dendrites. And this guy goes over here, and then they form a connection that's called a synapse. You guys have heard of synapses? Okay. So these dudes are tiny, right? They're like, the diameter of a big neuron can be microns. These guys, they can be super small, like 100 nanometers for a little one, 0.1 micron. When did they know about these guys? Well, they didn't know about 120 years ago. So they thought that the brain, it's like 100 years ago, the best biologists and neurobiologists in the world, their view of the brain was it was basically one big cell with a ton of like nuclei, basically, and a ton of processes all connecting. And that was it. That was the brain. One big cell. And then, better microscopes, better staining techniques, closer paying attention to stuff, people started seeing these synapses like 100 years ago or so. And they're like, wait a second. It's not one big cell. It's a shitload of cells. like way too many to count in this microscope. Turns out the best estimates now are about 84 billion in a human. But it took Golgi and Cajal and a whole bunch of like the giants of neuroscience to really realize that the brain is not one cell, it's a whole connected network of cells. And so we have this idea of neuron doctrine that brains are networks of cells. And so I learned about that, and I thought, that seems like a pretty important part of the brain. And started reading, what do we know about those networks? Nothing. Seems like a problem. We're going to understand the brain. It seems like we might want to use it. And so we come up with the example of, let's say you wanted to understand your computer. How would you go about it? You guys are engineers. What would you do? First thing, you've never seen a computer before, but you're an engineer, so you know how to do stuff. Someone shows you a computer. What are you going to do? Take it apart. That's a good idea. So that's what I thought we should do. And then what would you do? You take off the cover and you look inside. Now what? You do anything you want, right? There's a whole infinite supply of that. Don't worry about breaking it. Look off the cover. You're going to just look at it for a while, right? Look at parts. And then? No wrong answers. What would you do? I know what I would do. What would you do?
Put it back together.
Take it apart?
See how pieces fit back together.
Well, it's still all together. You just got it.
No, take it apart first.
Take it apart. Okay, that's a good idea. We take off the cover, we rip everything up. And then do we label it, like where it came from and stuff, so we can put it back together? Otherwise it's going to be hard. You know how many pieces are in a computer? Have you ever taken a computer apart? It's unpleasant putting it back together. Have you ever put it back together and all the pieces went back in? No. Me neither. I've taken a lot of computers apart. They don't all go back together the same way. Okay, so we take it apart, and then we try to put it back together, but let's say we successfully put it back together. How much did we learn? Do we know how it works now? I don't. I know the name of all the parts that I made up. Round boxy thing, little wiry dude, green boardy like thing, flexi cable-y ribbon rainbow thing that got really hot. And then we name it in Latin so no one knows what we're talking about. But we don't know how it works still, so what are we going to do next? Yeah? That would involve turning it on. Yeah, let's turn it on. Someone just gave it to us, right? It wasn't plugged in. Just sitting in the box. Turn it on. You want to break it and try stuff, or just try stuff first? Try stuff. I'm open either way. Okay. Push some buttons. Right? There's a keyboard, there's a mouse, whatever. Push some buttons. Things happen on the screen. Okay, now we figured out that there's an input and there's an output. That's good. And now start ripping shit out and see what breaks. Basically, right? So that's pretty much what neuroscience is doing for a while. But turns out ripping out parts of the brain people are not into. And so they do it a lot on animals who can't put up nearly as big of a fight. And we're pretty good at it now. So we can deactivate parts of the brain and then they can come back. You can do it. It's pretty cool. I don't necessarily recommend this, but you can cool your brain and turn off parts of it. The blood stops flowing. And you'll just like be dumber for a little bit. I don't know why you'd want to try that, but you can try it. I do not recommend it. But there's other things you can do also. You can use TMS, basically magnetic stimulation. You put it in different parts of your brain on the outside. Also it turns off parts of your brain. You can also amplify parts of your brain with that. That's super useful for all sorts of techniques, like people who have a lot of seizures. You can just start stimulating part of the brain and turn it off and stop seizing. It's pretty cool. Okay, so we take stuff apart, try stuff. What happens if we wire it back together the wrong way? Well, in a good scenario, it doesn't blow up in your face. But in a bad scenario, you've got like acid battery burns all over you now. So it's pretty important how you wire that stuff up in the computer. At least when I've wired it wrong, it did not end well for me. So I thought, okay, networks are pretty important, networks of the brain. I really don't know that much about it. I'm pretty good at math, I'm not great at math. Like I did get a C in calc, but I didn't go to the classes, so it could go either way, really. But I know I studied hard, and I think I can do the network thing. I love the brain, it seems important. So, feasible is, can you figure out a way to really make inroads in this thing that you really care about? And I thought about it for a while, and I thought, I'm pretty sure if I understand the networks of the brain, I will make some sense of what's going on. And I'm pretty sure I can do it. And so that brings to the next point, which is, you gotta love it. And that's because every day, everybody wakes up, hopefully. You wake up, depending on what you did last night, you might wake up late, but you're gonna wake up properly. But just as soon as you wake up. And then you're gonna make a choice of what you're gonna do that day. And you can do almost anything, right? Everyone in here has a crazy amount of privilege relative to almost everyone that's ever lived. Kings and queens of England can't do shit that you can do with a snap of your finger, right? I'm hungry. It's 4 a.m. Domino's. 10 minutes later, I got pizza. You know how long it took them to get a pizza if you were a king like 100 years ago? It was not 20 minutes. And they had to like take out cash or whatever. So annoying, right? Just pay with my phone, it's so great. Okay. So we have crazy amounts of privilege. We can do pretty much anything we want, like way more options than anyone else ever. So, if you're gonna do something that's really important and feasible, you better love it, because if not, a bunch of days you're gonna wake up and you're gonna do something else. Right? Because humans, for the most part, we just do whatever we feel like. Right? We're like not particularly self-regulating particularly well. At least I'm not. And most people I know are really not that great at it. We really mostly do whatever we feel like. And so, you're gonna wake up every day, you're gonna do something. And isn't it great if every day you wake up and you get to do the thing you love the most? Like, wouldn't that be awesome? I'm pretty sure it'd be awesome. I think it'd be awesome. You guys seem to be less convinced, but I'm pretty sure waking up every day, getting to do exactly what you love is super awesome. And if it's important in the sense that it also makes a whole bunch of other people's lives better, and it's feasible in the sense that you can do it, this is a recipe for success, I think. So, for your final, your question is going to be, you can write this down, I can also email it to you if you don't do it. Do you want to spend the rest of your life, it's not going to be exactly this, but pretty close to this. Do you want to spend the rest of your life working on neurodata and in particular neural networks? I hope the answer is yes, and then call me. If yes, explain why from your heart to keep. If no, explain why not, and what you think you'd rather do. And to know the answer to that question, I'm asking you as part of the homework assignment, to go somewhere for at least an hour. You can choose anywhere in the world, I don't care, but where there's no distractions. There's no other people, there's no cars, there's no phones, there's no computers. Maybe you bring a notebook and a pen, and you sit there, or you run, or you climb, or you bike, or whatever you do that helps you clear your mind, and you think about what you want to do with your life. You don't have to get the answer right. I thought about it and I got it wrong. I get it wrong pretty frequently. And so I keep changing. And that's totally cool. But the final question is going to be, what do you want to do? And I'm going to know if you thought really hard. And I'm going to assume you did, because how am I going to otherwise say no, right? I'm going to assume you did. But I'm asking you to do it. It's not that hard, right? It's just an hour. You know how many hours there are in a week? So much you know. You guys are engineers. Just do math in your head.
168.
Did you say 160-ish? Really good guess. It was like precise, but left little room for error. Yeah, it's 160-ish. That's right. It's 168 hours. Okay? And when's the final?
Next Thursday.
6 days? Okay, minus 24. One of those hours. Just sit. You don't have to sit. I do this best. So the best way for me, so I go hiking on top of a mountain, miles from everybody. It's cool if there's trees and animals, although it's also cool if it's like desert or snow and there's literally nothing. Like if it's a really overcast day and it's on a snowy mountain, and you can't even really see where the sky ends and the mountain ends. It's like just all white everywhere. That's really good for me, clearing my mind. That might not work for you guys. I don't know how you feel about that, but I encourage you to do something like that for you. Not necessarily like that. It doesn't physically look like that. But something like that for you, to think about that question and come out with the answer. Yeah? You know the answer?
No.
Yeah.
So for the rest of us mortals, we can't wake up every day and love something and do that for the rest of our lives. We're physical and like a lot of different topics. At what point do you do something because you're committed to it and not because you wake up every day and love it?
That's such a great question. So, did everyone hear the question? Let's say you can't figure out necessarily the one thing that you love because you love a ton of different stuff. Is that right?
Sure.
Or you just like...
you love nothing, but you still want to be important and feasible and you want to be committed to it.
Yeah, so you love nothing. You're a bit of a nihilist. But you do wake up every day and you want to do something, and there's a lot of different things you like. So it's a really good question, and I do different things every day, right? Like on Sunday, I'm going to spend the entire day just basically staring at my 12-week-old and holding him in different positions and trying to get him to smile. That will not involve any figuring out how the brain works at all. But other days, I do a lot of that. So. I think it's true for a lot of people. There's not necessarily one thing, and I'm going to get to that. But the other thing you said is that you want to commit to something, and so I just want to talk about commitments for a second. It's a really funny word, in that people say it a lot, and I use it a lot. And you can tell what you're committed to. It's not what you say you're committed to, but it's what the things you've done. Right, so I have a lot of people in my life who say, I'm committed to, say, finishing this paper by next week. And sometimes I even say, I'm going to finish this paper by next month. I'm committed to it. And then next month comes around and I didn't do it. What was I committed to? Well, I was committed to sleeping, eating, did those things, hanging out with my baby, talking to my grad students, making sure they were all okay, starting my company, maybe doing some consulting, hanging out with my family, that's pretty important to me, exercising a bunch. I was committed to a whole bunch of things. That thing, it turns out I wasn't committed to. I thought I was, but I wasn't. If I was committed, I would have actually done it, right? What I meant when I said I'm committed to it was, I hope I do that. I'd like to do that. Me in a month from now, if I have done that, I will say I meant to do that and I did it. But I wasn't actually committed, right? Committed, you actually do it. So, the answer to your question is I don't know. But what I'm going to say is I encourage you to commit, set goals to the things you're actually going to do and that you're really committed to. And, it might change every day and that's cool, right? No one said you have to love the same important, feasible thing every single day. Some people are committed to going every day to the factory and turning this crank. Has anyone ever heard of there's a Czech psychiatrist whose name is something in Czech that I don't know how to pronounce? Maybe you've heard of him. He wrote a book called Flow, where he talked, does anyone know what flow is? Flow is a state of being where you kind of forget about time, you don't necessarily get hungry, you kind of forget to get up, and you're totally engaged in the thing, and it's a productive thing. It's doing something for the sake of the world. So I get in flow, for example, when I'm writing code. I just sit there. I've never written code for 48 straight hours. You just forgot to sleep in the middle. You guys must have done that, right? What about like you're playing piano for like 3 hours, you don't notice, and 3 hours have passed, or you went for a run and like all of a sudden you're like in a different state or whatever. These things have happened to you guys, right? You've not noticed that lots of time has passed because you were super engaged and focused on something. So I say to you is try to find a thing that you can do that with and do that. Do you have a thing like that? That'll change. Physiology of human changes over time. Sleeping is good. You have to be intellectually engaged to really experience flow. And it's a really cool thing. So people who are in flow, if you do a survey over the course of the day and ask people when they're happiest, like just ask them every hour or so randomly, how do you feel? Like, are you happy? Are you content? And blah, blah, blah. And then like, what do you want to be doing? People will typically respond like, what do they want to be doing? Oh, I wish I was at home watching TV. Or I wish I was eating dinner by myself or whatever. But it turns out, it seems like if people feel best about themselves, most content about themselves in the world, it's when they're in a state of flow. It's when they're doing a thing, focused on it intently, and like kind of forgetting about everything else in the world. So I would encourage you to try to find some of those things. I think most people have them, but it's not that easy to find necessarily. Any other questions? Alright, class dismissed. If you want to ask me more questions, I'll just hang out here for another 20 minutes, but it's the last class of the year, so it's leave early.